Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into why the absolute most terrifying, heart-stopping creature in your house is actually, well, your greatest ally. I am so incredibly excited to walk you through this because what seems like an utter nightmare at first glance is actually hiding some of the most fascinating biology you will ever see in the real world.
So, picture the scene. You've almost certainly lived this exact visceral scenario. It's late at night, you're heading to the bathroom, or maybe you're just padding into the kitchen to grab a glass of water in the pitch dark. You groggily flip the light switch, and then you see it, a blur on the wall. Just this creature moving at absolutely impossible speeds. And for a split second, your brain completely stops working. You don't want to identify it, you don't want to study it, you literally just want it gone immediately.
I mean, it looks like a biological mistake, right? Like a spider designed by someone who just completely forgot when to stop adding legs. It doesn't look harmless, it certainly isn't cute, and it definitely does not look friendly. And look, I want to validate that immediate instinctual disgust you feel. Wanting to squash it instantly is a completely natural reaction. But appearances can be incredibly deceptive. To really understand why we react this way, we have to look at the hard scientific reality.
Which brings us to Section 1, the science of fear. 30. The answer to our fear actually has a lot less to do with the centipede itself and way more to do with how the human brain processes information. You see, evolutionary psychology shows that we humans are really great at understanding typical animals. 4 legs, okay, we get it, that's a mammal. Totally normal. 6 legs, a little unusual but manageable. It's just an insect. But 30 legs? 30 legs moving in this perfectly coordinated wave that literally breaks something deep inside your pattern recognition system. Our brain just momentarily short circuits.
And this brilliantly illustrates what we call the uncanny valley effect. This violation of our intuitive understanding triggers a massive psychological reaction. The movement just feels wrong. It feels unnatural, almost alien. Honestly, it's like nature generated a creature using really bad procedural animation. Your subconscious mind starts screaming at you that this unfamiliar movement means you are losing control. Because it doesn't belong in your mental model of the world, your brain automatically assumes the absolute worst, that it must be extremely dangerous, highly venomous, and a massive threat to your safety. But what if everything we assume about the house centipede is just completely wrong? Let's move to Section 2, Anatomy of a Predator.
Hundreds of millions of years. That is how long the house centipede has been perfecting its craft. It is one of the oldest and most specialized predators ever to move into human homes. Its ancestors were walking on land hundreds of millions of years ago. We are talking way before the dinosaurs, way before mammals, long before anything remotely human even existed. Over that unimaginable span of time, evolution didn't make a mistake. It turned this creature into an astonishing, perfectly tuned masterpiece of biology. The real secret to its success lies in its forciples. Now, the pair of legs closest to its head? Actually, scratch that. They aren't even legs at all anymore. Over millions of years, they transformed into these highly specialized venom delivery appendages. It literally uses modified limbs to inject venom directly into its prey. Every single inch of its body is meticulously built for hunting.
And the engineering marvels don't stop there. The remaining 14 pairs of legs are arranged in what is basically a mathematical masterpiece. Each pair is slightly longer than the one right in front of it. Why? Well, this prevents them from tangling or tripping over one another when they're running at terrifyingly high speeds. And get this, it's incredible. If a predator like a bird or your house cat grabs one of its legs, the centipede simply detaches it, and the detached limb keeps twitching and writhing on the ground for several minutes to totally distract the attacker while the centipede makes a clean getaway. It can even regenerate that lost limb during future molts. It's essentially a high-speed, self-repairing survival machine. So now that we know how it's built, let's see this predator in action. Section 3, the unpaid night watchman. I want you to visualize this like a high-definition, slow-motion action sequence. What happens if you put a house centipede and 3 fast-moving cockroaches in the exact same box? Well, it's not a long chase. It is over in 5 seconds flat. Step 1. The centipede rushes in and pierces the first cockroach with those front venom claws. Simultaneously, Step 2, its long, spiny legs spread out like a living net, pinning down a second target. And Step 3, as the third cockroach tries to flee, it is literally tripped and trapped by the centipede's rear legs. 3 against 1, 5 seconds flat. Total control. That is top-tier predation happening right there in your living room. And its skills go way beyond just raw speed. It possesses an almost supernatural level of stealth. While you're sleeping in pitch black, the centipede doesn't need light at all. It has these antennae, which are often longer than its own body, completely covered in highly sensitive chemical receptors. Imagine a bedbug slowly crawling towards you in the dark. The centipede freezes. It detects the faint chemical signature. Its body lowers, all 30 legs engage like perfectly synchronized gears, and without making a single sound, it strikes with absolute surgical precision. It silently patrols behind your bookshelves, under your sinks, taking out termites, silverfish, spaders, and roaches. Now, at this point, I know exactly what you're thinking. Wait a second, you just told me it has venom claws, moves incredibly fast, and hunts in the dark. What if it crawls on me and bites me?
Which brings us to Section 4. Are humans safe? Look, it's all about a really stark contrast in perspective here. We view the centipede as this giant, terrifying monster coming right for us. But in the centipede's sensory world, you are a gigantic, heat-producing mountain that could crush it at any given second. It has absolutely zero interest in you, and its first unquestionable instinct upon encountering you is to just run for its life. So what is the actual reality of a bite? Well, even if you accidentally trap it against your skin and you somehow force a defensive bite, its venom claws are usually just not strong enough to puncture our thick human skin. And in the highly, highly rare event it does manage to pierce thinner skin, the pain is incredibly mild, usually way less than a bee sting, and it fades in hours. Its venom was biologically engineered for tiny invertebrates, not large mammals. It literally has no meaningful effect on us. You can safely put away the slipper. So if they are completely harmless to us and they actively kill the pests we actually hate, what should we do when we see them? Section 5. Nature's Whistleblower. So if you see 1 or 2 centipedes around, congratulations, you actually have a healthy miniature ecosystem working for you. But if you start seeing a full-on invasion, do not blame the centipede. You see, house centipedes lack a waxy outer coating, meaning they dehydrate extremely easily. They desperately need damp environments to survive. So seeing a lot of them is a symptom, not the disease. It means you have 2 major underlying problems: a hidden moisture issue, like a leaking pipe or a seriously damped basement, and an abundant food source, which means you have a hidden infestation of other pests. They are literally trying to warn you. Ultimately, this is the big takeaway here. Killing the centipede without addressing the underlying issue is exactly like smashing a smoke detector just to silence the alarm. The fire is still burning. If you fix the real-world moisture problem and you eliminate the actual pests they are feasting on, the dampness and the prey disappear. And once that happens, this silent, scientific marvel of a hunter will naturally just move on in search of better hunting grounds. So I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. The next time you see that 30-legged blur dart across the wall at midnight, what will you do? Will you let your prehistoric instincts take over and immediately reach for your shoe? Or will you pause, recognize the incredibly real, perfectly engineered biological predator right in front of you, and respect the unpaid night watchman that is quietly keeping your home's ecosystem in balance? The choice is absolutely yours.